Hi, my name is Erin Gardner, and I'm going to be talking about the budget cuts that happened in Texas public schools. So, in 2011, Texas schools suffered $4 billion worth of budget cuts, and spending per student decreased by $537, which is the biggest decrease since World War One. So, I think that the problem is that teachers are not getting enough pay and I don't think that this is necessarily a problem because teachers aren't like driving sports cars or wearing like expensive watches, but I think the problem is that not enough emphasis or importance is being placed on education. And so I think that this problem affects not just teachers, but it affects everyone because teachers or anyone really is going to be attracted to jobs that pay well. And so if a really high emphasis is being placed on education, they should want to put the most qualified and most skillful and attractive candidates for teaching jobs, but that's just not happening because there's no funds being not enough funds being put in that area. And so so basically, I think that teachers should be paid more because it would attract more skillful people, and in turn, this will affect the type of education that that the students will receive. This really affects everyone in America because everyone has to go through public schools, and so I was fortunate enough to grow up in a school district where the teachers were really good, and I consider myself to have a good education because of the skills that my teachers had. But I know that everywhere, that there's other places in America where this isn't the case. And even as an example, we watched a video in one of my classes. I'm an education major, by the way, so this hits close to home. But we watched a video on how families would come to these almost like a auction, and they would get picked like in a bingo cage thing, and it was like a draw to see who got to go to the charter schools, and it was packed out because everyone wanted to go to these better charter schools to give their kids more opportunities, but only very few people could get placed in these charter schools. So that was just really sad to watch all these families leave. Like, you would see them walking out crying because their kids were going to be going to these really low-level schools where there just wasn't any money being put through the school, and they knew that their students were not, or their kids were not going to have adequate education. And so I think personally, like as a teacher, I've had to rationalize in my head, like, I know I have a passion for kids and I have a passion for teaching, but I also have to deal in the salary because as far as teachers make about $35,000 a year on average, and so a teacher requires, to be a teacher, it requires a degree, and so I have to rationalize in my head, like, is it worth getting the degree in this just to make this salary? And I feel like with a job as important as teaching, you shouldn't really have to make that trade-off. So I think a solution would be, specifically in Texas, the Texas Rainy Day Fund. It was put in place by Rick Perry in around 2011, but it was put in place to put 15% of the lottery spendings towards education, and today that's decreased to about 4%. And so I think that if they put more, just put more money aside towards education, that this problem would go away. And I think that this would have so many benefits. I think it would benefit the teachers. I think it would benefit the students, because the highest level of teachers are going to want to be applying for these jobs. And I think also with more spending towards teachers' salaries, it could also go to the schools for better supplies to help the students learn, like more technology or more just higher level books and new books. And so basically I think that the problem with America today is that not enough emphasis is being put on education, and I think in order for this problem to be solved, I think that more money has to be set aside for education.